Breaking, Donald Trump has decided to move his inauguration indoors. He's saying the official narrative is because of the weather. You and I know there's more to it than just that. So next week's going to be crazy, y'all. It's going to be crazy. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we had at the beginning. If you hadn't already smashed the like button, smash it, smash it, smash it. And it's not just the inauguration I want to talk about. There are multiple things that is breaking right now that is going to come out this coming week. Y'all, it is insane. The things that are going to happen in the next 7 days that could literally turn the world upside down. Now, the first thing that's breaking right now is all over the internet right now that Donald Trump's swearing-in ceremony, you know, they've been working on this for weeks. No telling how much money has been spent to build the platform outside for the traditional swearing-in ceremony. At the last minute, okay, this is the narrative. Donald Trump's swearing-in ceremony has been moved indoors, air quotes, due to cold weather. Trump releases statement. Donald J. Trump swearing-in ceremony will likely be moved indoors to the Capitol Rotunda due to cold weather. According to CNN, President Trump's inaugural parade will also be moved indoors. What? The inaugural parade will also be moved indoors. How you have an indoor parade? Okay, we're going to get into that. Now, watch this. I want you to see something. Temperatures in Washington, D.C. are expected to be in the 20s on Monday. Now, that's cold. But, y'all, that's not 5. That's not 2. That's in the 20s. Of course, they're saying this will be the coldest inauguration since Ronald Reagan's second swearing-in ceremony in 1985, where temperatures dipped below zero with the wind chill. CNN is reporting that President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration is expected to be moved indoors due to the dangerously cold temperatures projected in the nation's capital. Multiple sources with direct knowledge of the plans told CNN. Plans are underway to have Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance sworn into office inside Capitol Rotunda. Discussions regarding whether to hold the inaugural parade and other celebrations are still underway. However, Trump's team has been in talks to potentially hold some of the festivities in the Capital One Arena, where Trump will host a rally on Sunday night, a victory rally. Trump's team is also in talks with the Joint Congressional Committee on inaugural ceremonies about how to handle the tens of thousands of people who had planned to travel to the National Mall to witness Trump being sworn in. Those decisions are still under consideration. Officials are worried about the low temperatures being a health risk to attendees and guests. Trump released a statement. January 20th cannot come fast enough. Everybody else, even those that initially opposed a victory by President Donald Trump and the Trump administration, just want it to happen. It is my obligation to protect the people of our country. But before we even begin, we have to think about the inauguration itself. The weather forecast for Washington, D.C. with the wind chill factor could take temperatures into severe record lows. There is an Arctic blast sweeping the country. I don't want to see people hurt or injured in any way. It is dangerous conditions for the tens of thousands of law enforcement, first responders, police canines, and even horses. Hundreds of thousands of supporters that will be outside for many hours on the 20th. In any event, if you decide to come, dress warmly. Therefore, I have ordered the inauguration address in addition to prayers and other speeches to be delivered in the United States Capitol Rotunda, as was used by Ronald Reagan in 1985, also because of very cold weather. The various dignitaries and guests will be brought into the Capitol. This will be a very beautiful experience for all, and especially for the large TV audience. We will open the Capital One Arena on Monday for live viewing of the historic event and to host the presidential parade. I will join the crowd at Capital One after my swearing in. All other events will remain the same, including the victory rally at Capital One Arena on Sunday at 3 p.m. and all 3 inaugural balls on Monday evening. Everyone be safe, everyone will be happy, and we will together make America great again. Now, this article for Gateway Pundit goes on to say there have been concerns about Trump's safety following the 2 recent assassination attempts. Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino this week dedicated a podcast to concerns over Trump's safety at his second swearing in. He asked the question, will Trump's inauguration be safe? Many people are asking that question. Now, I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. I get it, and I respect the wording, and I agree that this was setting up, far as the temperature-wise, to be a dangerous situation. There's no doubt about it. But we're talking about the 20s, and I'm not belittling that. I know the wind chill factor could make it even more dangerous, and many of those people, as he said in his statement, would be outside for hours upon hours upon hours. But I'm telling you right now, I think with anybody that's got a thinking brain at all about them, it's more than the weather. I mean, there's been so many reports of potential sleeper cells that are already in Washington, D.C. We know that the attempts on this man's life has been multiple occasions already. No greater stage to pull it off than the day that he's sworn in to take him out. And so I believe, gospel according to Larry here, I believe, and I think most of you probably believe too, that the weather is conveniently being used, and I think it's probably part of the actual concern, but I think it's more than that. I think it's that there was many reports probably came in. This is not safe. People were asking questions like, this is how suspicious Americans are. People were talking about, it's already going to be behind bulletproof glass, but who makes the bulletproof glass? How are we sure that it's actually bulletproof glass? All this, because people's minds just go there, that forces that be want him out. Now, if you did not believe that there are major forces at play here, look at this right here. This is what was going to happen. Now it's moved indoors, but watch this. Donald Trump's inauguration is expected to have significant law enforcement and military presence in what is designated as a high-threat environment. Law enforcement and military personnel that's going to be on hand. Over 25,000 law enforcement and military personnel will be on site. This includes 4,000 officers from other cities, 7,800 National Guard members, and the full activation of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Over 30 miles of anti-scale fencing will be installed, which is the most ever for an inauguration. A fleet of drones will be used for surveillance. United States Secret Service says don't be alarmed by the amount of drones you see. Interesting. That means the sky is going to be full of drones. There will be extensive road closures and metro service adjustments, with some stations even closed. The recent CR bill, which include $90 million for costs associated with the presidential inauguration, including $625,000 for the acquisition schedule for the geostationary Earth orbit, GEO. These satellites will ensure reliable, high-quality live television and radio broadcasts across vast areas. More importantly, geostationary satellites can support emergency communications and provide enhanced security measures by facilitating real-time monitoring and coordination during such high-profile events. This article goes on to say, I think POTUS is safe, but we should definitely pray for him. So let me ask you this. What were they preparing for? What had they been told? They had been told that major potential events, life-altering events, nation-altering events could be coming for this inauguration. So now you have all of this fencing. You have the platform that was built on the steps of the Capitol. You have this enormous amount of military, more military than in the history of our country for an inauguration, more fencing than the history of our country. You have the skies, you're being told, are going to be full of drones. And then, do you not think that they have the best meteorologists in the world planning for this? And then here we are, beginning the weekend that leads up to this inauguration. We're on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So, you got forecasts that go out 10 days, 3 days forecasts. They didn't just come to them. That's what I'm trying to say. Something else happened. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me. Something else happened to tell them. Now, let's go down a rabbit hole real quick, okay? Let's go down a very interesting rabbit hole. Okay, so you look at the things that you got going on this week. You got the inauguration, which has now been moved indoors. And what in the world does this mean? An indoor parade. I want to know what that means. Are they going to open up the middle of that arena and just let the floats come in and all that in the middle and everybody clap? And, it's just like a Barnum and Bailey circus or something? I don't know. But they're saying the inauguration parade is going to be moved indoors. Were you not getting ready to see Donald Trump get out of the car and walk down and wave at everybody? You're not going to get that. Why? Why are you not going to get that? I mean, think about this. And I know what they're saying. They're saying for the protection of the people because it's going to be cold. It's the temperature. I get it. Y'all, it's more than that. So I think some of this drone stuff that we've been hearing about for several months now could play into this. But I'm going to tell you what else I think is going to play into it. There are major UFO disclosure videos and interviews and information coming out this week. Things that, who knows if the hype is going to live up to it, but the hype is the stuff that's going to come out on News Nation this week for this interview that I'm going to tell you about. They're saying has never been said before. It's never been revealed before, and it will change the entire narrative of our understanding of UFOs, UAPs, and whatever. Daily Mail is reporting Air Force vet shockingly describes how he helped retrieve a UFO for the U.S. government. An Air Force veteran has made shocking claims about UFO and alien retrieval programs long rumored to be operated under the U.S. government. Now, what does that have to do with this week? Because this is the images of the guy. He looks a little scared, I'll be honest with you. But this is the interview that is going to come out, I believe it says on the 18th, which is tomorrow at the time of this live program. Let me scroll down here and see. Yeah. So the full interview titled Hunting UFOs, the Crash Retrieval Whistleblower is set to air Saturday, January 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern on News Nation. My question is, why now? My question is, why have you held on to this information until 2 days before the inauguration? And then the inauguration, the police are saying, don't be alarmed. You are going to see more drones than you've ever seen in your life. It's going to be covered in drones, fencing. But watch this. Nobody's going to be behind the fencing now. What are the drones going to be looking for? Everybody's inside. What is at play here? Now, this is a little excerpt from the interview that's going to be live on News Nation tomorrow evening. And it's supposedly, who knows if it's just hype to get ratings, but supposedly is going to reveal some things that no one has ever said.
So tell me about the moment when you realized that you were involved in a retrieval of non-human technology, alien tech.
So it became very clear the first time our communication process and procedure was modified. And then just visually looking at the object on the ground, you could tell that it was extraordinary and anomalous. It was not human.
How close did you get?
Well, I was a helicopter pilot and I operate with 150 foot to 200 foot long line. So I got within 150 feet of this object.
What did you see?
I saw an egg, a white egg.
Was there any visible propulsion system on it?
No, not what we would know. There's no engine, there was no thermal signature. I was operating at night when I finally came in to pick it up, so I'm working under night vision goggles at the time. And it was quite clear. I flipped them up, flipped them down, and looked at it a couple of different ways.
How did you know that that egg-shaped object was non-human in origin?
Now, visually, after seeing all kinds of things in my past, it was clearly something that was ridiculously looking. It's inconsistent with anything I'd ever seen before. I can also tell you that the reaction by my team, we all knew we were dealing with something extraordinary.
And at no stage were you ever subsequently told that the craft was of non-human origin?
I will tell you that during this process over the last couple of years, it's been confirmed to me by ranking members of the UAP task force that what we were working with that night was in fact NHI, and it was not a unique experience.
So tell me about...
So this is another whistleblower that is coming out this week as well. This is a part of what he's saying now, and then part of this guy's going to be on this interview as well to tell more. And this is just the first few seconds of this. Came out, I believe, 3 days ago.
Our technology is well ahead of what people know. Because where I was, right place, right time, I saw some of that.
You occasionally still work at Area 51, right?
We call it the test site or the test range. Area 51 is just one component.
I've been there, not at that gate, but I've been to Area 51. Got the T-shirt and got ran out.
Component of that entire huge sprawling compound. During that time, a green orb type object had flown over, and that was where the weird shit started. We moved on down another hallway, and it had a marking on the wall and said off-world technology.
That's insane.
Metallic basketball-sized sphere. Looked like it was just levitating above the podium. It looked unnatural. I'm looking at it, and it almost looked like a mirage type of effect. And above that display screen were these hieroglyphic symbols that I started to see appear. This is encoded in something deeper.
Way deeper.
So the reason I'm showing you that is because it's interesting to me that this News Nation interview, which News Nation, I don't know, man. I don't know about News Nation. I mean, I like News Nation. I like that they're somewhat balanced. They're still got a little liberal tint to them. Nothing like CNN or MSNBC. And they're not exactly like Fox News, but they're the new kid on the block, okay? And for whatever reason, this dude right here keeps getting the exclusive interviews with all these whistleblowers. Maybe it's because News Nation is the only one that wants to touch it, but they're building their platform off of UFO Disclosure. So obviously I'm a little suspicious of it, but y'all, it is crazy that this interview is going down the weekend of the inauguration events. Now the inauguration has been moved indoors, and the one source that would probably be covering it more than any source out there is supposedly, now according to the Supreme Court, going to be banned. Now, I'll be surprised if it actually goes through, but it came out today as well. Look at the calendar. The Supreme Court says the TikTok ban in the U.S. can go into effect. Do you know when it goes into effect? January 19th, the day before the inauguration. The Supreme Court ruled Friday that a controversial ban on TikTok may take effect this weekend, rejecting an appeal from the popular app's owners that claimed the ban violated the First Amendment. The court handed down an unsigned opinion, and there was no noted dissents. So let's scroll down here. It says the Supreme Court acknowledged that for 170 million American TikTokers, a distinctive and expansive outlet for expression, means of engagement, and source of community. But the court said Congress was focused on national security and concerns, and that the court said was the deciding factor in how it weighed the case. Congress has determined that divestiture is necessary to address its well-supported national security concerns regarding TikTok data collections. So Trump has confirmed that he had a conversation. He supposedly called and had a conversation with Chinese President Xi Jinping, saying that he had a great talk about TikTok and a great talk about many other subjects. The court, however, noted that Trump once wanted to ban TikTok. President Trump determined that TikTok raised particular concern. I do remember that. President Biden's position on TikTok has been clear for months. Given the sheer fact of timing, the administration recognizes the actions to implement the law simply must fall to the next administration, which takes office on Monday. Isn't it interesting that the ban is to go in place on the 19th? This interview of UFO Disclosure, next level of UFO Disclosure, is going to be late in the evening on the 18th. On the 19th is the day of the victory celebration in the arena by Donald Trump. And then the 20th begins the inauguration, which has now been moved indoors, air quotes, due to weather. And the sky's going to be filled with drones. We're being told that by the Secret Service. And speaking of Secret Service, if you didn't know this, one more quick news item. President Trump has named Sean Curran, who heads his personal detail, to be the Secret Service director. Curran was incredibly vocal about his need to increase Trump's security ahead of the Butler attempt, but was repeatedly denied by the Biden regime. Curran put his life on the line by jumping on top of Trump as gunshots ran out, so his loyalty is tough to question. If Trump trusts him with his life, then so do I, but Curran must reform the USSS. Americans trust in them. This is him standing behind him with the shades on your right on the screen, circled right there. This is the guy that's going to head the new Supreme Secret Service. Now, isn't it interesting that all of this is going down and he says, look, I've got intelligence saying that these forces are going to try to take me out. I need somebody that I've been with for years, because he's been the lead of his Secret Service even when the last 4 years, from what I understand. They've developed a strong relationship. He said, I got to have somebody that's going to protect me and protect my family that I can trust. So it's like all narratives are pointing to the fact that they saw something very, very dangerous coming to Washington. And they said, look, yeah, it's going to be bad on the weather too. Let's use the weather to be the reason why we move it inside. So it's going to be a very, very interesting weekend with UFO Disclosure. And then don't forget, Monday night at 7 o'clock Central, we will be here live for our regular show covering the inauguration. Smash the like button, show us some love. We appreciate you on this afternoon, Friday afternoon show. We'll see you next time. I might do a show a little bit later tonight. If not, I'll probably see you sometime tomorrow, and I'll probably cover this UFO Disclosure. It's going to be on News Nation. So let me know what you think about it. Do you think that it is just weather related? This is just the president caring for people who's going to be cold, or you think there's something more to it? See you next time on The Big Picture, where we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.
Would you like to help us build the Big Picture family? We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. All you have to do is go to our website at LarryRagland.com and make a one-time gift, or you can become a monthly partner. Any amount is a blessing and an encouragement to us. While you're there, make sure you get a copy of our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect with us on our social media links, and join our mailing list. We appreciate it. And remember, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.